Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi, Masechet Sukkah. We're up to Perek Aleph, Mishnah Yud Aleph. Today's Mishnayot should be Leilu Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Aranbayev, and Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen. This Mishnah begins by discussing two cases of a Sukkah formed in such a way that it is impossible to tell where the wall ends and the roof begins. The Mishnah begins, Ha'oseh Sukkato kemin tzirif. If one makes a sukkah like a tent with sloping sides, meaning he leaned rows of valid schach material against each other so that they slope toward the point at the top where they meet. He also enclosed one of the other sides so that it has three walls. That would be diagram A in the Art School Seder note 1. Or if he leaned it against the wall, meaning he leaned the wall of valid schach material against an ordinary straight wall. For example, he put one end of a row of sticks on the ground and leaned the other end against the wall. In this case too, one of the other sides was enclosed by a third wall. That would be diagram B in the Art School Seder note 2. Rabbi Eliezer posel mipnei shen lah gag. Rabbi Eliezer rules that such a sukkah, that the sukkah is invalid in each case because it does not have a roof. Since there is no way to distinguish between the roof and the wall, the slope is regarded as one long wall, leaving the sukkah without a roof. However, Rabbi Eliezer agrees that if at least a tefach is clearly discernible as either a wall or a roof, the sukkah is valid. For instance, if the top of the sloping sticks are moved one tefach away from the wall, the horizontal roof created makes a sukkah valid. Although this roof is smaller than 7 by 7 tefachim, which is the minimum size of a sukkah, it combines with part of the slope to form a complete roof. In this case, we view the slope as consisting of two parts. The part below 10 tefachim from the ground, which is the minimum height of a sukkah, is the wall, and the part above 10 tefachim belongs to the roof. The space under the slope must measure at least 7 by 7 tefachim horizontally at a height of 10 tefachim from the ground, because otherwise it would lack the dimensions of a sukkah. This would be diagram C, quoted in number 3 in the Art School Seder note, visualizing the tefachim and exactly how it was structured. But the sages rule against Rabbi Eliezer that it is valid because in their opinion, part of the slope can be viewed as the wall and part as the roof. And the Rav tells us, V'alachat Rabbi Eliezer, the halakha does not follow the sages' view, or the halakha follows the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Now the Mishnah cites another dispute between the sages and Rabbi Eliezer regarding a sukkah. It was taught earlier in Mishnah 4 that anything capable of becoming tameh, impure, is invalid as schach. A mat made of reeds can become tameh only if it is intended to be used as a mat on which people sit or lie down. Generally, a flat wooden item such as a reed mat cannot become tameh unless it is designated as an object on which people rest their weight. For example, they will sit or lie down on it. Now, there is no question that a small reed mat, meaning a mat just large enough for a person to lie down on, is used for that purpose, and therefore can become tameh. The law of a large reed mat, which is usually used to provide shade, is subject to the following dispute in the Mishnah. Machatzelet kanim gedola sa'ah lishchiva mekabelet tuma v'en mesakechin ba. If one made a large reed mat for lying down on, it is susceptible to tuma and may not be used as schach. People do not generally sit or lie down on a large reed mat, therefore it is incapable of becoming tameh and it is valid as schach unless the owner said that he is making or designating it for that purpose. A small reed mat, on the other hand, is used for lying down on, therefore it's capable of becoming tameh and unfit for schach. Unless the owner said that he is making or designating it to be used as shade, in which case it may be used as schach and is not susceptible to tuma. According to Rabbi Eliezer, however, a large reed mat is the same as a small one. Rabbi Eliezer says, Ahad ktana v'ahad gedola. Whether the mat is small or large, as-sa'ah ishchiva mikabelet tuma v'en misakechin ba. It was presumably made for lying down on, therefore it is susceptible to tuma and may not be used as schach. Unless the owner said that he is making or designating it for use as shade, in which case it may be used as schach and is not susceptible to tuma. The Rav does tell us, the halakha does not follow the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. That is the end of Perek Aleph, Mishnah Yud Aleph. We continue now with Perek Bet, Mishnah Aleph. This chapter presents more laws about the mitzvah of dwelling in a sukkah. The first Mishnah cites a dispute about a person who sleeps under a bed that is inside a valid sukkah. Hayashen tahad hamita besukkah lo yetza yedei chovato. One who sleeps under a bed in a valid sukkah has not fulfilled his obligation of dwelling in a sukkah. Now the primary mitzvah of sukkah is to eat, drink, and sleep there. Although the Mishnah mentions only sleeping, the same law applies to one who eats or drinks under a bed. Now, the reason that he has not fulfilled his obligation of dwelling in a sukkah is because the bed is considered a roof that creates a barrier between him and the schach. Now, this law does not apply unless the underside of the bed is at least 10 tefachim above the ground. For only then can it be considered an independent roof. This case is similar to that of a person sleeping on a 4-poster bed covered by a sheet, who also does not fulfill his obligation because he is on the roof, like we spoke about in chapter 1, Mishnah 3. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, but Rabbi Yehuda said, Noagin haynu she'aynu yishenim tahad hamita b'fnei haskenim. It was our practice that we would sleep under the bed in the sukkah in the presence of the elders. Velo amru lanu davar. And they did not say anything to us in protest, implying that one who sleeps under a bed does fulfill his obligation. Now, Rabbi Yehuda holds that a sukkah is a permanent structure, in chapter 1, Mishnah 1. A bed, on the other hand, is just temporary since it is moved from place to place. Because the bed is temporary and the sukkah is permanent, the roof formed by the bed has no significance compared to the schach of the sukkah. Therefore, the Rav explains, according to Rabbi Yehuda, one who sleeps under the bed is still considered to be in the sukkah and does fulfill his obligation. The Tanna Kama, however, holds that a sukkah is a temporary structure, just like the bed. Since the sukkah itself is temporary, its schach does not render the roof of the bed insignificant. Someone under the bed is viewed as being sheltered by the bed, which creates a barrier between him and the schach. And the Rav does tell us, Ven elecha Rabbi Yehuda, the halakha does not follow the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, it follows the opinion of the Tanna Kama. Now a story is related that supports the view of the first Tana. Amar Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon said, Maaseh betavi avdo shel Rabban Gamliel shaya yashen tahad hamita. There was an incident in which Tavi, Rabban Gamliel's Canaanite slave, was sleeping under a bed in a sukkah. Va'amar len Rabban Gamliel haskenim, and Rabban Gamliel said to the elders, Re'itam Tavi avdi, have you seen how wisely my slave Tavi behaves? Shehu Talmid Chacham v'yodeh she'avadim piturim min hasukkah. For he is a Torah scholar who knows that slaves are exempt from the mitzvah of dwelling in a sukkah. Now a Canaanite acquired by a Jew is obligated to perform all the positive commandments that are not limited to a specific time. Gemara in Chagiga, page 4a. He is therefore exempt from the mitzvah of sukkah, which applies only on the festival of Sukkot. Lefikach, Rabbi Shimon says, Lefikach Rabban Gamliel said to the Chachamim, to the Skenim, to the elders, Lefikach, therefore, Yeshenu Tachad Hamita, sleeps under the bed in order to make room for those who are obligated. Since Tavi was exempt from the mitzvah, he did not have to sleep on the bed. He chose instead to sleep under the bed so that there would be room for other people to fulfill the mitzvah. And based on this comment which Rabban Gamliel made in casual conversation, the Rav explains Rabban Gamliel's purpose in making the statement was not to teach the law, but to express pride in his slave. We learn in passing that one who sleeps under a bed in a sukkah has not fulfilled his obligation. And that is in Rabotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen v'amen.